Much like the Southern California weather during this time of year, things a little bit cloudy in Galaxy Land right now. But as the summer months approach in the coming weeks, LA hoping that the picture will get a little bit brighter as we head into the end of May and into June. Mark Rogondino here with you for your view from the booth for this week. We take a look at the opponent coming up this weekend, and that is the newcomers to Major League Soccer, Montreal Impact. It'll be the first ever MLS meeting between the two clubs, and LA hoping to get back in the win column after two straight losses. First in the midweek this past week against Seattle, and then here at the Home Depot Center, 1-0 on the weekend against the New York Red Bulls. All right, let's take a look at the opponent. When you start with the Impact, you have to start at the top. You're talking about their first-year head coach. That is Jesse Marsch. You may remember him as a player, many good years with the Chicago Fire, and then most recently before his retirement with Chivas USA. And this team really embodies the same spirit that Marsch played with as a player. He's the type of guy that would get under your skin, very educated, very smart in his decision making, and always a fierce competitor on the field. Now, when you think about an expansion side, you probably originally think, well, this should be an opportunity for LA to get back in the win column, but not so fast. Montreal has already stacked up a couple of wins this season, including their most recent, a 2-0 win, taking down arguably the top team in Major League Soccer at their home ground at Livestrong Park, and I'm talking about Sporting Kansas City. A goal by Felipe, that turned out to be the game winner. The Impact would add a second from the penalty spot in the second half. It all added up to the first defeat of the season for Sporting Kansas City and the first road win ever in MLS history for the Impact of Montreal. This is a team that possesses some very good players. You have veteran leadership in players like Davy Arnaud, who wears the captain's band on most occasions for Montreal. And then you have to go all the way to the back, a face that Galaxy fans will know very well. I'm talking about goalkeeper Donovan Ricketts. 2 great years when he first came into LA in 2009 and 2010 before last season, being unseated by Josh Saunders. Remember, it was the injury to the forearm, the broken forearm for Ricketts, that had him miss most of the second half of the 2011 campaign. So Galaxy fans will get a good look at Donovan Ricketts, who has now put together nearly 300 minutes of shutout soccer across all competitions for Montreal most recently, and certainly you would expect the Jamaican international to bring his best against his former club. Let's touch on the environment we expect to find at Olympic Stadium in Montreal a little bit. Now, the fan support should be incredible. They're expecting north of 60,000 fans to show up. That was the number they reached for their home opener, which ended in a 1-1 draw with the Chicago Fire. You would think that will lend to a great environment for both sides. Hopefully, we'll see a couple of Galaxy jerseys show up there at Olympic Stadium as well. All right, let's talk about the LA Galaxy. What do they need to do to get back into the win column? As I mentioned at the top, 2 straight losses, the most recent against New York. First off, they need to finish their chances. As Bruce Arena spoke with the media after the game against New York, he talked about it wasn't just creating chances. LA did plenty of that, but it's finishing off those chances. You look at a player like Robbie Keane getting in behind the New York defense and just missing that chance after it's cleared off the line. And then you have a player like Edson Buttle. It's been a rocky start for Edson so far this season, and I think actually the game against New York was one of his poorest performances of the season. But if you know anything about Edson Buttle, and if you can find that form that he had in 2010 when he absolutely exploded not only in Major League Soccer but got the call-in to the U.S. men's national team, Edson has the ability to get hot in streaks. If he can get himself going in this game, certainly you would think that would lend to him getting hot for the next couple of weeks, something Galaxy fans would certainly welcome. What about the midfield? Well, Juninho and David Beckham continue to develop that chemistry, but I'd like to see it taken a step further in terms of incorporating Mike McGee on one side and Landon Donovan on the other side. Landon Donovan, I think, would be the first to tell you he had some great looks to finish the ball into the back of the net against New York, and especially the one where he hit it right at their goalkeeper, but he certainly would expect better of himself in a matchup against Montreal, not to mention trying to beat his former teammate Donovan Ricketts in goal for the Impact. And finally, defensively, I think that's been the tough spot for LA all season. Still yet to record their first shutout. Bill Gaudette will again be in goal for Los Angeles, but it's a question of who will be the 2 center backs. We've seen David Lopez in there battling a little bit of a hamstring injury. Will he be back in the starting lineup? AJ De La Garza, you would have to say, will certainly be in the starting lineup, but the question is who will be his partner? Will it be Tommy Meyer? Will it be David Lopez? Could we even see Andrew Boyens come back into the fold? So it'll be the first ever meeting between the LA Galaxy and the Montreal Impact, and it's on KDOC at 1 p.m. Pacific time. Kobe Jones and I on the call. If you're in the Southern California area, get out to Santa Monica. Ye Old King's Head will have the Galaxy viewing party. Should be a festive environment, just as it will be up there at Olympic Stadium. Happy you could join me here for the view from the booth. Make sure you stay right here on LAGalaxy.com.